Good morning, Falcons. Principal Neal here with your weekly announcements. And this week we are really focused on preparing for EOG and NCFE testing coming up next week. The most important thing that I want you to know is just how much myself and our entire team here at Quail Hollow really believe in you. So what I want to do is actually show you a video clip. This is the trailer to a movie about Tommy Caldwell. Tommy Caldwell is a rock climber. He specifically does free ascent climbs, and so if you were like me before I watched the actual movie, I did not know what this was. I just knew rock climbing was, holding on to the little handles on the walls, like at the gym. And so Tommy actually climbs these huge mountainsides, and he goes up and he just does this by holding on with his bare hands and with his feet. So he's attached to a rope, but the rope is only there so if he falls it will catch him, but the rope does not help hold him onto the wall in any way, shape, or form. And so what happens is when he's going up this huge mountainside, he actually maps out different points along the way. So it might be going 50 feet here and then attaching back to the wall for a moment, and then you climb another 200 feet or whatever it is. And so what happens is that if he doesn't make it for, if it's this 50-foot stretch he's supposed to go, if he doesn't make it, then he'd fall, the rope would catch him so he doesn't, get hurt, but he would then have to start back at that point and he would have to try to go that distance again. And he just keeps trying until he makes it. And then he gets to go the next increment of, maybe another 100 feet. And so that's how it works. So I'm gonna show you this video clip now.
When you see El Capitan for the first time, it takes your breath away.
Early in the morning, there's this one panel of the wall that illuminates first, the dawn wall.
It has never been climbed until Tommy Caldwell came along. Nobody had actually considered trying it.
It's like stepping off the edge of the earth.
I guess the question here is, why are you doing this?
I was this very fragile little kid.
He didn't crawl till he was over 2.
I think my dad felt the best way to prepare this kid for the world was to toughen him up a little bit. And so he took me on all the craziest climbing walls you could ever do, and he did it with a 6-year-old. By the time I was 14 or 15, there was climbs that I could do that my dad couldn't.
Tommy became one of the best young climbers.
And then he got invited to Kyrgyzstan to rock climb. And all of a sudden, we were hostages.
After being held captive for 6 days, 4 young Americans confront the ultimate choice: to kill or be killed.
He saved our lives.
But he became a different person.
Ever since Kyrgyzstan, I just have this fire in me. This has always been my safe place, my way to deal with life. And I was looking across at the dawn wall, the last unclimbed big swath of stone. I decided maybe that could be climbed. I needed a partner.
Kevin, he was one of the best in the world at only up about 30 feet.
But everybody else thought I was crazy.
At this point, I have no idea what I'm getting into. It's about to consume 6 years of my life.
This is a pipe dream, man. Come on.
Nothing left to do but just take a couple deep breaths.
If Tommy and Kevin can actually do this, it will be, come on, the most difficult climb ever done. And it's going to go on day after day.
Suddenly, the whole world was watching.
And one of them stuck. It was pretty clear that that was it.
I don't want to hold you back.
Maybe this climb really was impossible. We are capable of so much more than we could ever imagine. I was this very fragile little kid.
He didn't crawl till he was over 2.
I think my dad felt the best way to prepare this kid for the world was to toughen him up a little bit. And so he took me on all the craziest climbing walls you could ever do, and he did it with a 6-year-old. By the time I was 14.
So I hope what you took took away from that was really watching the perseverance that Tommy demonstrated, because I was blown away when I watched this full movie last weekend. So first of all, I want to point out, Tommy didn't start crawling as a baby until he was 2. And so a typical baby starts crawling usually between 6 and 10 months. So he was delayed. And then his dad had such a strong belief in him to say, okay, that doesn't matter. He was just a little bit behind. And his dad went ahead and started teaching him to rock climb, so that he was climbing rocks by the time he was 3, only a year after he was crawling. So he was really pushed. Then, in his rock climbing career, he was actually held captive by rebel soldiers when he was in Kyrgyzstan. So he literally had to make this choice that was either going to save his life or potentially allow himself and the 3 other people that he was held captive with to die. And so he made this horrible choice to actually push the rebel that was holding them hostage off the side of the mountain so that the rest of them could survive. He went into a state of depression about this. As you can imagine, I mean, this was just truly one of the most horrible decisions and actions you could ever imagine taking. And yet he chose to persevere. He chose to use that as something that just made him stronger. And so then he came back and he continued to set all of these records for rock climbing. So you thought, like, okay, what else could possibly happen? And then he was using a saw. He wasn't doing, he wasn't sawing, I guess, the way that you're supposed to. And he actually accidentally sawed off his index finger. So this is a rock climber. This is a man that literally uses his hands to hold on to the side of a mountain just with his fingers, and he now is missing his index finger. But he didn't give up. Everybody else thought that his career was over. And he literally trained himself to continue to rock climb. So it was challenge after challenge that he faced, and then he decided he's going to climb the Don Wall, this stretch of mountainside that no one has ever been able to climb. And he did it. And as he's up there, literally living on the side of the mountain in this little tent thing that was attached, he was living there for over 2 weeks, day after day, going up and trying to climb portion of this mountain. And so in the end, of course I dropped my paper. In the end, he said, we are capable of so much more than we could ever imagine. And so I hope this is just an example for you of all that you are capable of. So if you get to a section of the test and you're feeling frustrated or you're feeling confused, just remember, it's just one portion. Keep going. You can do it. Refocus. Try another problem. Go back, but you have got this. You've prepared for this all year. You need to believe in yourself. There were times when nobody else believed in Tommy except for himself. And that's why he was able to achieve this amazing feat of climbing the Don Wall. And the other thing to remember is that you are on the path to college and career success. The achievement is important. The test is important. I want you to take it seriously. And it is not the only thing in life. So I need you to keep that in perspective of, again, remembering the big picture and have confidence in yourself. Don't stress yourself out to the point that you can't actually do your best on the test. You have got this. Make sure you get a good night's sleep over this long weekend and the week ahead. Make sure you're eating all 3 meals a day. Take advantage of breakfast and lunch here at school. Dress in layers so that you can be comfortable. I know some rooms are hotter and warmer and it changes over the course of the day. And then be prepared to remind yourself now that you will be turning in all of your technology before testing begins. So I don't want you to be frustrated or upset the morning of testing. No, this is part of the required testing routine. You will be giving up all of that technology, your phones, your watches, your smart whatevers, your gaming devices. It will all be collected for testing. Again, that's part of the procedure. So know what to expect, plan ahead, have confidence, trust yourself, and do not give up. You've got this.